Awesome. So welcome to our community time. We do this every Saturday for those of you that are new. Our support is really important. Again, my name is Rachel Richards. I'm a client. I'm in the optimization phase of my program, which is a really fancy word for maintenance. We don't believe in the word maintenance because health is not a destination. You don't get there and stay there. You got to contend for it every single day. And I'm contending for my health with you this morning. And every time I gather with this group, there's some kind of crazy energy and strength that it brings me. And so I'm going to be consuming along with you today. I'm going to give you a little bit of contribution as well. I do want to make a couple of announcements that are super important. And I'm trying to wait till we have enough folks in the room, but this is recorded, so that'll be good. We have a Health and Hope event this Sunday at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And what that is that is an opportunity for you to come and get some health and hope and really get a deeper understanding of this massive paradigm shift that you guys are experiencing. What paradigm shift am I talking about? I'm talking about a society that is going to try to sell you and all of your friends on intensity versus consistency. This culture loves intensity, but we don't love consistency. And that's what gets us in the hurt box more and more and more every year, with more catastrophic illness and obesity related diseases and really emotional mismanagement. And so this offering on Sunday is a chance for you to come and be inspired and edified in the decision that you've already made. And also you can invite friends and family that are probably going to go out and do a crazy, fad, intense something in January. And we would love for them to just know that this program is here. Is it a fit for everybody? Absolutely not. And we don't say that it is. We just say that it's a really good option to consider if you're ready for a life change and you're sick and tired of all of the kickstarts, startups, resets, and things that haven't served you in the past. That this would be a space for you. So I don't want to take too much time. I just wanted to invite you into a space today. Let's talk about the mindset that we can have on this call. The mindset that I'm inviting you to take on this morning, and you don't have to, everything's an invitation, is come in open, coachable, and curious today. Come in looking for a puzzle piece. Every single day in my life, I feel like I get another puzzle piece because I'm looking for it. And come in today and just grab your puzzle piece. I don't know what it's going to be. And then I'm going to challenge you to communicate it to your guide, your coach. Your coach is just a person who's trying to get healthy and contending for their health with you. They struggle just like you. Okay. So they're not experts. We are not experts. We're just sick and tired of doing it alone. And we find a lot of strength in this community and in our clients, believe it or not. So where's your puzzle piece? I hope it'll be something today. And then communicate it to your guide and say, this was my shift, or this was something that really stood out to me. This is something I'd like to work on. And then lastly, I'm going to ask you a question to write in your life book. Instead of thinking about how am I going to lose 50 pounds? How am I going to get off diabetic medication? How am I going to have the healthiest body that I've ever had in my life? Instead of asking yourself that, ask yourself, what type of person is capable of losing 50 pounds? What type of person has an incredible healthy body? And start thinking about the type of person that you're going to have to become. And why I'm asking you that is because it will take care of this crazy need to do it fast, to get there, tomorrow. I'm not losing fast enough. This isn't happening fast enough. It will take all of that away because you're going to say, I have to become the best version of myself. This isn't about just losing another X, Y, or Z. This is me unbecoming things and becoming things. So I just wanted to frame us up this morning. This is a very important time of the year. This is a very important time of the year to really evaluate what's working and what's not working, what's serving and what's not serving. So these last couple of calls as we end the year together and start a new one are going to really challenge you to start thinking about living that intentional life versus losing some weight. Okay. So with that, Dawn Buzbee, dear friend of mine, she's just a gem, a genuine, real person. She lives out loud. She shares her struggles. She shares her victories and her knowledge. And today she's going to meet you in this space as a client who's contending for her health. And she's going to share with you some things that may fit if you try them on. So my dear friend, Dawn, take it away.
Thanks so much. Although I feel like we can all just say, have a great day. That was awesome. I loved what you just contributed, Rachel, such good stuff. And I want to just start with who actually wrote that question down in your life book. Okay, so put a 1 in the chat. I don't know why we do that. Just seems like something we do. Put a 1 in the chat. I don't know, put a 4 in there. I don't care. Put something in the chat if you wrote down that question in your life book. Okay, there are 80 people on right now. I really hope this thing blows up because guys, this is where it starts. Okay, my friends, like when you are given counsel or advice or a suggestion as simple as write a question down, we should do that. So if anybody didn't do that, I want you to just sit with that for a minute and ask yourself why. Like, why didn't I take this simple step to just write a question down? And this is really what this whole program is about. It's dissecting our actions and it's dissecting our thoughts, and it's getting past this surface level and really digging down. It's finding those grubs that are eating the roots of our growth, right? So I wrote the question down. I rephrased it a little bit for myself, but it's who can I become while I venture towards ultra health, right? Because for me, I've become that person I needed to in order to lose my 55 pounds of extra weight. I'm very transparent with the fact that 10 pounds, couple of pounds more, even depending on the day, has come back over 2.5 years, but none of it by accident, right? And none of it by shock and awe. Like, I don't know how that happened. Well, I know exactly how it happened, right? I don't follow a simple tried and true program. So I really love element 5. We're going to wrap it up. We're going to start where we might have reviewed a little bit last week, but I want to just kind of start. We're going to start on page 134, which is managing our experiences. And I'm going to dive in real quick to that. So managing our experiences is essentially, you guys, our experiences shape our emotion, which shapes our reactions to things. And the whole hope here is that we learn how to respond over react. And a big thing that I've learned throughout this process and a couple years prior was that I was a super angry person. And I had to dig down some layers. Why am I so angry? Why do people walk on eggshells around me? What is going on, right? And there was a very much legit come to Jesus moment for me. And then I became a client. I was like, what is going on? And then a coach or a guy. And I was just like, lots of stuff. Well, for me, my anger quickly got renamed, and I quickly learned how to identify it as despair and grief, right? So anger often manifests as pain, but we haven't dug down deep enough to figure that out. So we're just mad. We're just mad at the world. I'm mad that it's snowing. I'm mad that it's not 90 degrees, right? Whatever it is. And so, but once I had that realization, which was really cool, I was then able to come to this place of compassion, not only for myself and learn how to deal with that, but now for other people who are angry. So now I can see people who fly off the handle or lose their temper or just are toxic and complain all the time. I am now in this place where I'm like, oh man, I hope I can do coffee with you someday. Or can we do coffee? Because something has got you. Like, can we talk about that? You know, there's so much more to life than resting in this place of anger. So my pastor friend once said that anger, when we get angry at something, it is actually the thing that we hold the greatest pride in is being threatened. And when you take a walk with that, you're like, I just got caught up on the freeway. Well, what was threatened? My space on the freeway, my space in this lane. It's not your space, it's public space, right? So it's like when we understand that anger is manifesting something that we hold near and dear, we have to then figure out what that is. Is it prideful? Is it selfish? Or is it legitimate? Like there's times for righteous anger, right? But I'm going to tell you, the vast majority of the time, we're getting angry because our time, our space, our whatever has been impacted and we don't want to share. So I want to encourage you all to walk with that a little bit. Stop, challenge, choose is mentioned again and again and again in Healthy Habits Transformation. We love it. 3 that I want you on page 135 to which are really important to me, the last 3. Get a better night's sleep, smile and be appreciative, gratitude. It will change your life. It will change your life. When somebody's being angry, if you can just respond with a genuine smile and try and figure out what's going on, it's going to change their life. Be open, curious, and desire growth when challenged. If you're not open, curious, and if you're not desiring to grow, even when things are legitimately going wrong, that has nothing to do with your hand or your behavior, you're gonna fall into a pit. We have to understand that everything is about our growth. Everything, the good, the bad, the ugly, the wicked, all of it. We gotta decide to grow. So consistency over intensity. I hope you get tired of hearing that within this community and this group. Consistency is where it's at. I'm so glad they got rid of the term maintenance years ago because it's unrealistic. It's unrealistic. Like you don't remain. We are always moving and growing, or we should be, right? Think about water, right? What happens with stagnant water? What happens with water that maintains its position? Well, it actually doesn't even maintain it, right? It's morphing into decay. It's becoming stagnant. It's becoming useless. So we don't ever want to maintain. We always want to be moving forward. So just a note to come back to, like, having compassion for people, social consciousness, especially coming out of the pandemic. You guys, we have a world suffering from PTSD. Guess how the vast majority of people are dealing with that? Somebody come off mute and just say it. How is the vast majority of the world dealing with their PTSD right now?
Food.
Food. Where's my crumble cookie? Where's my, I don't know, pasta? Where's my whatever it
Alcohol.
is. Alcohol. And you know what? People aren't even ashamed to say it anymore. It's actually become a fad. It's become a cool thing to do, to go, this is what I do now because of this. But we're here to make that change. We're here to be such a positive influence on the people around us and continue to let that be a ripple effect out. Right? We can make that change simply by how we choose to live our lives. And so that's my hope for everybody today. But I'll tell you what, you'll never impact somebody's life if you don't listen to them. If you don't shut your mouth, right? And really listen with intent to understand. Now, I don't think we can fully ever understand somebody else's life. I don't think we can fully ever put our feet into their shoes. But man, we sure can empathize, or at least sympathize. We can try, right? We can imagine, at least, and be honest about that. I don't know what you're going through, but I can imagine it's horrific. And I just want to be an ear for you, right? I found this super powerful. And again, this is another thing for us to not only realize about the people that we interact with, because we're going to dive into how our relationships actually can impact our health if we're not careful. So we need to be aware of people who haven't been equipped with these wonderful tools that we get in this community. They're not going to come up to a standard that we expect for ourselves because they don't know it, right? So we have to be empathetic towards that. But page 138, this is powerful when you consider the world that a lot of people are still in, but some of us have the incredible privilege to be coming out of. But this world of isolation, you know, if you have any friends in Australia or Canada, I do, they're moving into full-on segregation mode. Like, it's horrible, right? So there's some mindset stuff there to work on for sure. But this is how we communicate as human beings. 7% of our communication is actual words. What did we get through the pandemic? How did we communicate? Pretty much by word only. And that was written word, even, to make it worse. Some people had an opportunity to get onto Zoom. So now you can have tone of voice with those words and a little bit of body language. But check this out. Tone of voice, body language makes up 93% of how we communicate. 93% of how we communicate has been removed for the last 18 months or so. We need to appreciate that. We need to understand that about this world now that we are interacting with. So how much of a ripple effect can we create by checking our tone of voice, by watching our body language, right? By standing with confidence, by walking with confidence in a grocery store and then smiling at somebody. What kind of impact do you think you can have in this world that has come out of a cave, essentially, of isolation? So that was just a little pinpoint thing that I wanted to touch on there. So our tone of voice has a lot to do with, I was going to move into a story there, but I think I'm going to move on because I want to get to a place where I can get a little bit of interaction here. So we have to listen to understand. And then, this go system. I think Julie talked about this last week. It's at least in the previous part of element 5, a know or go system. We got to learn how to tap into that for sure. So we want to be the change in our world, right? But that starts with us. So often, we hear people say, I've had people say, what does your workout look like? What are you eating? What's your meal plan? What's your diet? Tell me, give me your daily life. And I'm like, that's my life. That's what works for me. You got to find your life, right? We can't be taking this protocol from everybody else and going, cool, I'm going to try this one on for size. It was like David trying to put on Saul's armor. It's not going to work. Find your own. What's your strength? What's your armor, right? And so this is what I really want to encourage you in. Decide what you want for your life. You are all here because at some point you decided, I want to get healthier. I want to feel better. I want to put on clothes and not have 10, 20 more outfits in reserve to try on. I want to actually leave my house. Anybody there? That was me. I didn't want to leave my house. And I'm an introvert, and holy cow, can I tell you how easy that was to stay home? I also had a corporate job, but I worked from home. So I didn't have to leave the house. And can I tell you what a pit that started putting me into? So you were all here because you wanted something different. Can you hold on to that? Can you cling to that every day? Why are you here? Why are you paying Optavia $400 a month or so? Why? For what? For those fuelings to stack up in your pantry? Friends, that's not what you're doing that for. You're doing that for this community. I don't know about you, but this community and my coaching network within this community has sustained me since 2020, early 2020. It has sustained me outside of my spiritual time. This has been my community. I don't know what I would have done without having this group of like-minded people, because a lot of my other networks, man, they were falling into the bandwagon. That's COVID, who cares? Oh, I probably would have fallen right back into that, not because I wanted to, but because it's what I was surrounded by. And we as humans do that. I mean, it requires an incredible amount of self-control, but once that's been depleted and you've got nothing left to give for whatever reason, but stress is a big one, that's when we just go, okay, cool, whatever, that's that, I'm done. We are here to say you're never done. Don't give up. We are here for you always. We want to support you, client, coach, fellow client, whatever it is. We want to support you. That world is beautiful outside of that house. That world is beautiful outside of that huge piece of clothing that you put on just so you don't even have to worry if it's going to fit. You guys, there's just so much more to life. I want us to tap into that. List your 5 friends, list your 5 accomplices, page 141. This is hard. This is hard, right? But if we can at least be aware. So now if you're at least aware, you can make some proactive decisions when you're going to be around accomplice, right? And another word for an accomplice is somebody who intentionally derails you. Somebody who sabotages you, not because they hate you, not because they want to see you fail. Well, they want to see you fail, but not maliciously. It's because if you fail, then they're okay. If you fail, they don't have to try, because this is just how life is. But if you succeed, now the way they view it, it's not what you're saying, it's not what anybody has ever said, but the way they view it is, now they failed. If you succeed, now they have to make a change or they're lesser than. This isn't true, but this is how humans perceive it. And so when we start to become more aware of that, we can start to have the more honest conversations, right? So you have to take a break from the accomplices until you learn how to talk to them. And I don't mean simply by telling them what you're doing. This is beautiful and powerful, but I don't know about you, but I want to do more than tell people what I'm doing. I want to tell them, this is what I'm doing and you can too. But until you can support me in that, because this is super important to me, because I feel so good right now and I don't want to derail that. If you can't step in line with that, or if you can't respect that, that's okay. I love you, I respect you, but I'm going to have to remove myself for a while because I'm not strong enough. So I'm either going to need you to help me in that or respect that I have to walk away for a bit. Don't skirt around that issue. Be direct, because this is how we help people, right? If I'm just telling somebody, oh, hey, I'm choosing not to do that right now, you know, so, or we ghost people, we just don't ever accept their invite. So I didn't get permission from my daughter. I hope I can share this, but she has made a resolve to not drink right now. She's 21, it's legal, whatever, right? But she's made a resolve to not drink. And she's got some friends of her that keep inviting her out to the club. And I said, have you told them what you're doing? She goes, no. And I said, that's not fair. So it's also not fair when we don't share with our friends. I said, you need to tell them, I'm not drinking right now. I'm not strong enough to go to a club. So if you want to hang out, we're going to have to find something else to do. Now she's impacting their life. Now that ripple effect is going out. Because whether they want to take her up on that or not, don't you think their lives are impacted by that? Right? That's the whole point. How can we be so compassionately honest with people that we are impacting them, whether they are on this program and journey and within this community or not? You guys, we are the community out in the world. Let's go do that. It's only going to strengthen your resolve in what you're doing. Not everyone's going to like it, though. That's kind of a problem. Okay, so we have to avoid these traps. So I've had several clients lately who have really struggled with family surroundings. Anybody else? Anybody else have that family that's like, oh, I baked your favorite pecan pie. You guys, pecan pie. That used to be my favorite. I can't eat it anymore. It is like pure sugar, goopy. Oh, I can't even do it, right? But we have a holiday coming up chock full of tradition. chock full. And I've got to wrap this up. I don't think I'm going to get through all of this today. But so here's what we want to do when we're talking to people, right? Remember, we are creating a ripple effect. We are helping people by setting our boundaries. We are loving them by setting our boundaries. And what does that do? That sets us up for exactly where we want to go. No self-sabotage here. We're done. We're past that. That's element 4 and 23. Okay. No more self-sabotage. Can we all just say right now, I will not self-sabotage anymore. I am going to dream big. I am going to hope big. I'm going to change my life. And it's today. It's not tomorrow. It's not after Thanksgiving. It's not January 1st. It's not Monday. It's right now, next fueling time. I'm changing my life. Like, this is my choice. I get this choice, right? So when we're talking to people, okay, what's the intent of that pie or the crumble cookie that you share all the time or whatever else? Well, the intent is love. So the question is the crumble cookie really the only way you can express love to me? That's not true. That's just the habit, right? So work together, establish that thing. One client, crumble cookie was their thing, one night a week. And I said, okay, well, you both are choosing health, so why not a salad? Can you not find that cute little place that you can go to and get a delicious salad? And can that not be your expression of giving to each other every week? Can't we change the protocol? You have that power, right? Well, they did. And you know what? They love their salads. I think that's amazing. I think that's amazing because now they feel better together too. Okay, you guys, page 143, stages of learning habits of health. We got it. We got to learn this. You got to know this process. But just above that graph, this when he talks about deliberate practice that makes the difference. So we have accurate mindfulness. I think this is kind of where we'll have to wrap this up for today. So I apologize for the next speaker. You'll have to finish up the last part of element 5 for me, but we're running out of time. But so the deliberate practice, what does that look like? How do I do that? Okay, I know these things. I'm in this conscious incompetence phase, right? I know that what I'm doing isn't working. Okay, so how do I change it? Well, we have accurate mindfulness, we have feedback, coaching, and deliberate practice. Okay, accurate mindfulness, guys, this is your book reading and application. Okay, this is taking an action step towards actually just making something happen and not wishing. Okay, dream boards are great, but if they just decorate the wall, they're not going to do a darn thing for you. You need action steps to actually get to those things. Okay, the feedback, well, feedback is your results. Where are you at? How are you feeling? Non-scale victory this week? Perfect. That's totally okay if that's the only victory you have. But 3-4 weeks in a row, all you have are supposed non-scale victories. That's your feedback. Dive into that. You guys, our program promises more than that. Okay, legally, okay, I have to say we can't guarantee it, but predictable results. There's just a very simple biological fact of calories in and calories out and expenditure out. It produces results. So that's your feedback. If you're struggling in that area, please connect with your coach. That's why we're here. Okay, Optavia takes very good care of us to take very good care of you. Please utilize us. Let's dig in deep. Get on a Zoom if you're really struggling. Dive in and be willing to get the hard questions and give the hard answers back. Okay, that's where change is going to happen. Your coaching, just talked about that, and deliberate practice. Well, that's your habit stacking. Start small. Find a habit that you do all the time. Create. And then the habit that you want to do that you're struggling with it, pair it with that habit you do all the time, and then start stacking them. And soon you're going to see this compound interest that's going to blow your mind. Okay, I'm going to respect our time today. I'm going to end there on page 143. Hope that helped. And I'm sorry, this was totally not interactive today.
No, it was so good. It was so good. And we love it. So a couple closing thoughts on element 5, specifically page 143. To Dawn's point is that practice makes permanent. So when we say, how long does it take to develop a habit? 21 days, 40 days, 66 days. Harvard says 66 days. Dr. A says forever, always. the minute you stop practicing it, a new habit will take its place. That's not true. It has to become permanent. It has to become a part of your value system. So we all would say, if you put us all in a room, we would have the same values, more or less. We would say health and faith and freedom or this or that, right? You'd put everyone in a room, you're going to get the same values. But the behaviors for a lot of people, their values are here, what they say they cherish the most. I value health. Then why are your habits way over here, right? And they don't at all walk in the direction of your values. And that's not to shame anybody, because I'm as guilty as anyone in that. I have values that my behaviors are miles apart from. And I'm tired of it. And I want to walk a little closer with my values and how my values meet up to my behaviors. And so if that appeals to you, keep coming to the calls. They're Monday nights, they're Saturday mornings. Guys, it's going to take neuroplastic work. And what I mean by that is you are not a tree. You can move. Dr. A says, guess what? When someone says, oh, people don't change, people don't really change. Yes, they do. Their brains are neuroplastic and they can be reprogrammed, but you've got to be willing to keep touching it and touching it and touching it. Every day we're giving you nourished, a fueling, a call, a podcast, a page in your life book. Guess what? That's neuroplastic. That's like brain surgery that's happening. And pretty soon these habits will become like brushing your teeth. You don't have to be coerced to brush your teeth, because that's an installed habit. Nobody has to call you at 8 o'clock at night and go, all right, so like, do you still value your teeth? And do you want them to stay in your head? And like, you're like, I'm past that. I'm doing this, yelling down the hallway, talking to people. That's how subconscious it is. So guess what? You can have those kind of changes in your health, but you just have to keep showing up. Not perfectly, but keep showing up to these calls and to your coaching calls with your coach, because we're here to help you make this easier than it has ever been on your own. Thank you, Dawn. That was beautiful. Next week, we will still be in element 5, and we're going to put some feet on this thing. And yes, it will be super interactive next week, because we've got some stuff to work out. I realize it's a holiday week, but guys, 30 minutes next Saturday, if you can join, please do. We're going to build on this. And if you miss it, we'll always have the recording in Nourished. Okay, thank you so much. And we'll see you guys on the Health and Hope Night, Sunday at 5 o'clock. It'll be in this Zoom room, same place, 5 o'clock to 5:30. And we can't wait to spend time with you guys. Have a blessed week. End.